Andrews Live, the podcast with your host, Randy Andrews. On this podcast, we're all about the music and the stories. Each episode, Randy takes different music tracks and puts them to the stories and events of our everyday lives. It's like building a soundtrack to your life and then rock out to it. But it's not just about the tunes. We also bring out guests to share their stories, and we'll give you a behind-the-scenes look into the life of a full-time entertainer. From the sold-out shows to the green rooms, we're here to take you on a wild ride. So grab your headphones and get ready to jam. Here's your host, Randy Andrews.
How's it going, everyone? This is RAndrewsLive, Live, and on today's episode, I've got a very special guest, business coach and salon owner extraordinaire. Jessica is joining me. Jessica, I'm going to let you do a full bio, full intro. Go ahead and let everyone know who you are, what you're all about, and then we'll jump into the fun.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for inviting me. My name is Jessica Steele. I'm way up here in Alaska, and we've been dealing with some crazy storms, but I have been a salon owner for 25 years and a hairdresser for 33 years. And I've decided now this year I'm launching my first coaching program for business foundations for salon owners. And I hope as this grows that I can go into different businesses, but we're going to start with salon owners because we've got a lot of changes and a lot of things that have also stayed the same that we want to lean into. But thank you again so much for having me on.
No problem. I'm excited. So we went back and forth. We're talking on Facebook a little bit, and one of the cool things with this podcast, one of the reasons why I wanted to personally get started with it was with the pandemic, with everything that went down, the entertainment industry, it took a hit, and I'm sure the salon industry did as well. You know, rules, mandates, all that. And I feel that over the past year to 3 years, people somehow forgot how to kind of interact and just meet new people and share those experiences. And I can tell you personally, one of my favorite things to do when I go get my hair cut is just sit there, relax, and just make that connection. Just have a good conversation, whether it's with my barber, my hairstylist, or someone else that's sitting in the chair. We just have a good conversation. So I'm sure you probably were missing out on that a little bit this last couple of weeks.
Oh, absolutely. You know, as a hairdresser, we've always been told that nothing will never be replaced by computers, will never be replaced by somebody that's more educated than us. Like, we've always felt so solid in our career. And then when the pandemic happened, I think that really rocked us a lot because we've never considered an actual pandemic, that it might be dangerous to touch people and to be within somebody's space. Like, that's something that I had never considered. And so when I was, my salon was shut down, and it was so hard to think, what will the new way be? Because once you realize that you might make somebody sick or somebody might make you sick, I mean, you just start to think differently. And with our career, other than the medical field, we're really the only ones legally allowed to touch people. So before the pandemic, our job, we were happy when people would come in because some people especially if you lived alone, you wouldn't be touched, like your shoulders wouldn't be touched. And we get people off the streets. Think about it. Our job is to get strangers and lean them back and shampoo their hair and help them feel relaxed. I mean, if you think about that's like the core of what we do. That's huge, not only just to make your hair look beautiful and make you feel beautiful, but just the interaction, the human connection. And we also provide in our communities a real place for women to feel connected, and you get really close to your clients and like the other clients, the other hairdressers in a salon. And when that community connection broke down, it was there was more ramifications than just like having your roots showing or just having your hair getting long. Because when we opened back up, it was everybody that sat in my chair or even in our whole salon told us their experiences of being 8 weeks not allowed to leave their house. Like, where else are you going to go somewhere where somebody truly wants to hear your experiences personally of what you went through for maybe the 8 weeks that you were locked out. So I felt like those first couple months, my staff, we would get off work and we would feel so heavy because we were holding the stories of our community that they felt like they couldn't really talk about because everybody was experiencing it. So why would they share their story? But
Right.
at a salon, you're allowed to share your pain, your issues, where you're feeling sadness. And they did. And it reminded me, and it taught me how a salon is not just there to do a service, but we do so much more of within like our community, and how vital it is to stay open.
Yeah, you hit on a few things there with me that I've never actually considered. I it makes sense now that you say it out loud that no other profession is out there touching people off not touching people,
right,
but pulling people off the streets and
no, exactly.
It
like
just,
in somebody's personal bubble up
Yeah.
in there. Doctors, dentists, nurses, those type of people are eye
Right.
doctors and stuff, but those are medical professionals who outside of that is allowed to be in your bubble, run their hands through your hair, get all up in your business legally.
Yeah. God, honestly, I've never thought of it that way, and I like that. It puts a new spin on it that we do allow that personal space. That when you sit down in that chair, that your bubble almost kind of pops momentarily.
Absolutely.
And then on the other side of things, you hit it. It's almost therapeutic.
Yes.
The aside from your psychologists, your medical professionals who are out there who you go to pay and you go to see and talk about your problems and you're seeking that assistance, that help. Aside from that, you really, aside from bartenders too, I guess some people go.
I was going to say that bartender. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Who do you tell your stuff to? The bartender and the hairdresser.
Yeah, and the bartender is more or less I'm venting to them.
Right.
But a salon, at a salon, you're sharing almost intimate moments in times. Because I know I've talked about my family, my kids, what I'm doing when I'm on the road. I like to share those stories and be open. So, that's that therapeutic side of things. So I'm throwing a curveball at you right now.
Okay.
So I'm going to you to take yourself back to the pandemic when you first heard, all right, my salon is shut down. Mm-hmm. Take that time frame and then up to the moment where it could open back up. And I want you to, we're going to throw a song at it. That if this was like a movie and you had a movie montage going, you got a phone call, a text message, you saw on the news, salons are shut down. We can't open. Businesses are at a halt. That whole time frame, think of like a time lapse. And I want you to put a song to that soundtrack, that moment in your life. And you can take a second.
Okay, let me ask you again. Here we go. What is the new? I'm going to say something crazy. I'm going to say Gangster Paradise. Okay. It was just like, oh my God, everything is different. Let me roll up my sleeves and it's going to be gangster out there, because now it's like, do I have mask in my salon? Do I not have mask? Do I have people at the door with the temperature? There was so many rules that we had to follow just to stay open. And yet we had clients that would be like, I will double your money if I could come to your house and if you could do my hair. You know what I mean? And it was like, it just was, I would remember thinking, oh crap, do I even keep my salon open? Or do I just start doing hair at home where there's no rules and people are going to give me way more money? And you start to just think that it is gangster out there. Who's going to be following the rules? Who's not following the rules? What are the new rules? I mean, every day I felt like there was new things that I had to consider opening back up. And at the same time, the bills were stacking up.
Yep.
And it was like, I gotta stay open. And then it's just like, do I even stay open? I mean, and then how can I keep it was a Gangster Paradise moment. Absolutely.
I love it. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw the Gangsta's Paradise Coolio, who, R.I.P. Coolio. He actually passed away this last year. I'm not sure if everyone realized that. I threw you a curveball and I think you hit it out of the park. Coolio's Gangsta's Paradise is, the way you described it is a perfect song for everything that you're going through. He's talked about minute after minute, hour after hour. He's trying to make money, and it's perfect. So I'm going to encourage all the listeners out there, check out Gangsta's Paradise and let us know what you think of it, because it's it's a good one. That's a good song to hit this off with.
Okay.
Perfect. So. All right. So we go in from Gangsta's Paradise, where you're doubling your money, you're doing your in-home stuff, your
No, because I want to make sure you understand. I didn't.
Oh, you didn't do it. Okay.
I didn't. I stuck with the rules.
Good.
I mean, I had a lot of opportunity, let's say.
Yep.
From clients that were like, you have to do my hair. I've never seen my roots before. I can't handle this.
Okay.
But no, I never made that choice. I wanted to follow the rules because I wanted to keep my family safe and my clients' family safe. Because I didn't know,
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of uncertainty there. When I went out and I was doing shows, I was one of 4 comedy hypnotists going out and performing live during the whole pandemic. There's 4 of us, 2 of us, myself and another gentleman, we went out together. And we followed absolutely every restriction based off the school we were at, the state we were in. We had masks, we socially distanced. There are a few shows that we actually did virtually, which it freaked me out, having to worry about if someone's going to be stuck in hypnosis down in San Antonio while I'm stuck in Iowa. Luckily, none of that happened. But once the pandemic and everything ended and the floodgates opened, you said, you kind of touched on a little bit that you felt heavy after work. You got home, like it was almost. I'm sure for you, because this is how it felt for me. Was I got done with the show, I was like, oh, that was so fantastic. I'm so glad to be back out here. The audiences are starting to come back in, but you do feel heavy. You have that burden on your shoulders that you almost doubled up your workload in one day that what you traditionally would do. Which my workload for me is an hour and a half of going and sleep. A little bit, I don't say easier, but it is. Having to cut hair and style, and so I want you to fill us in as far as what happened coming out of it, and then throw a song on it. So as you're kind of thinking of the song, kind of let us know. Floodgates opened up, doors are back in, chairs are full. Lay it on us. Okay,
so we opened back up, and we were getting clients. It felt overwhelming when you have like a bottleneck, a backlog of all these clients. And then on our books, I mean, I have clients that book out a year out. So it's like you had like 2 months of pause, but I still had clients that were on the books for, like 3 months, like forever. And so where do I put all these clients? Like, it was so overwhelming to think, okay, I have a chunk now of clients that have not been seen, that need to be seen, but my books are already full. So it was some long days, long nights, being so thankful that I had work. But I think I was so thankful for my clients, but I felt really, alone with other salon, like with other business owners. I felt like we came back to work, all businesses, and we dove headfirst into an overwhelming workload with huge restrictions. So our workload was huge. All of these rules we had to follow, and then just praying we'd make enough to start paying back the bills. And you didn't really have the time to do your networking, or you weren't really networking anymore. Yep. So the connections you had with the other business owners weren't there, because everyone was like, I just need to keep the doors open. I just need to pay my bills back up. And so I think what was hard for business owners was, thank God we're back open. Okay, we got to follow these rules. I'm feeling kind of isolated. And I think clients felt isolated, but they were feeling connected being back in the salon. But for business owners, I felt like we were feeling isolated, because it's not like we were able to go and connect back with our business groups, because really we just would work and then we would be home and just like pass out, and then not really sure what was still going to happen. Was it, because remember back then we were thinking there could be another wave. Is this going to happen again?
Yep.
I got to save as much money as possible. And so you kind of put your head down and just work. But there was that fear of, how is everybody else doing? How's everybody else managing work again now and family? And also my kids were home from school. So it was also trying to balance their needs of making sure they didn't fall behind. So I feel like that next step was the feeling isolated, being thankful my clients came back, but their needs were being met, but mine weren't. But it was okay because I was just so thankful I was able to keep my doors open.
Yeah. And it was one of those weird handoffs that
very weird.
You want to be, you need to be present for yourself, for your friends, your
Yes.
family, but you also need to be able to provide for them. So it's that internal tug of war going back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, where do I sacrifice? What do I got to give up? And
Right.
I get that 100%. So
Yeah.
if we had to throw a song to that.
Okay. It would be Adele, Hello. I feel like I would constantly be like, hello? Is it hello?
Yep. I love it.
You know, because it was like, I had the clientele, we were working, but the connections that I needed weren't there. But of course the client had their connections with us, and we were giving a service which they needed. And I was so thankful we had those connections, but the connections for, I think, business owners were broken.
Yeah.
It was what it is. You know, it's just like we were thankful to be able to pay the bills and stay open. And so our goal moving forward was get ready if there's another wave, get ready if something else comes. Let's just keep the doors open. If a client wants to come in, we're going to take care of them. So let's just keep that work first, because we knew what it felt like to not be allowed to work.
Right. So let's segue into the next thing. So if you're listening to the podcast, make sure you check out Adele Hello and see how that resonates with you and everything that came out when the floodgates opened back up and restrictions were lifted. So let us know, drop a comment. We're going to segue into our next section, though, because as a business coach and mentor, and you kind of, the industry, and I'm sure it's kind of one of those easy, hey, someone asked me for help, and more people are asking. So we're going to segue into that. So let me know, fill us in a little bit about your business coaching and kind of what you do and your process there.
That's great. Well, I started just doing one-on-one coaching that people would reach out to me. And then I realized this really wasn't sustainable because I hit a ceiling. Like I was trading time for money again. And once you run out of time, that's all the people you can help.
Yep.
So my partner, who also has owned a salon, she's owned 3 salons. She's been in the industry 30 something years. So together we have 63 years of experience between us. And we realized, we're like, people are asking us and we give advice and we love that, but there's only so much we can give. So this summer we dove deep, sat on my kitchen table and actually came up with a program of 4 foundations to run your business.
Okay.
And of course it's based in a salon environment, but our next one, I believe we're going to work on the restaurant industry. So, because we want to expand on that. Yes. And so our first one, because we know the salon industry, is of course the salon. And so what we have is your mindset is the first foundation. Like you got to get your mind right. You got to know the goals, your targets. And then it is, you got to know your numbers. You got to know what is a balance sheet. What are your profit and loss? You can't make good decisions for your business unless you understand where you're at. Like you need to know, is your percentage for payroll too high? Like a lot of people don't even know. They're just like, I'm not really making money. And then when we sit them down with their percentages, we're like, your rent percentage is too high. Your payroll percentage is too high, So it's just like, so you got your mindset, your budget. Then we've got your managing, like your policies and your procedures and actually setting up the expectations, because salons, since COVID, we're having a really hard time with recruiting and retaining staff. because
Yep.
there was such a huge uproar that happened in our industry. It really kind of changed it, and it put us on a different parallel where a lot of people didn't come back because stylists realized, I have no insurance, I have no retirement, I have no backup plan if something like this happens again. So we lost a lot of hairstylists that didn't come back after COVID. And also they thought, I'm not risking my life to do hair. Thinking, because we didn't know how bad or how sick or, you know. And so, and then just how to manage it all. So we've got the 4 foundations. And so what we want to teach business owners is that if you have a fire in your business, meaning problems that are coming up, if you deal with just that problem, it's going to go away, but it's always going to come back. But if you have a problem, you figure out in the 4 foundations of your business where it's coming from. Is it from your mindset? Is it from your policies? Is it the way you're managing your business? Or is it your budget is not real? You really have no idea what your budget is. Then you can remove the stress and the fires that keep happening. So we want to teach entrepreneurs that it's not linear. It's not like you want to build a salon and then you have a salon. It's very circular. You're kind of constantly have to go through those 4 foundations. Once you go through it, your mindset is going to be different because now you're not a startup. Now you're like, okay, I'm going to have a 5-year plan. And you go through those 4 foundations again. Then you say, I want to sell it. Well, you need to change your business model so that you can sell it without you being part of like the numbers.
Yeah.
You know, you need to slowly get yourself out of it so you can sell it. And so it's a constant circular, constantly going back, reevaluating, going back, reevaluating. It's never beginning, ending.
Yep. It's kind of, so one thing that you kind of hit there, and this could be true for most service industries. If you're a photographer,
yes. Absolutely.
If you are the face of the franchise, you're the photographer, yes. But you have 4 or 5 other teams of photographers out there. You're out there. You're the forefront. People want you when you go to sell the business. Then it's like, well, right. Is the business going to succeed? I had an opportunity, which is kind of funny you brought that up. I had an opportunity here. It was about last year and a half ago, maybe, to get in on an agency for hypnotists and for entertainers. And one of the issues that came up, because I looked at it from a broad perspective, played devil's advocate. And one of the things was, all right, the head of the agency, he has been in the business for 45 plus years. He does over 200 shows a year. He is the agency. There's other artists that were there. There were 75 other on the roster. And he said, I'd like you to come and be part of a team that takes it over. I'm going to ride off in the sunset and retirement. And I looked at it, I was like, well, there's all these shows that are out there that you're currently doing. And I had the opportunity, I did several of those shows with him and I filled in for a few dates with him. But the problem was when he would step away, is it the relationship that they have with him? Is it his show that they loved? Or is it, hey, we have this, it's there, we're going to keep booking you? So I ran into that and I ran the numbers. I looked at it, I opened the books. I said, is this going to work out? What fires will I have to put out? How many shows am I going to lose? So I kind of went through that process. It was definitely not as organized as what I'm sure you'd be able to provide for us. But I looked at it and to me, it wasn't the right place, wasn't the right time. I wasn't willing to jump on that grenade and take that risk. But no, that's awesome that you're jumping in. And salons, obviously you guys, with over 60 years experience, it's definitely a good thing to jump into, the ins and outs. Yeah. And
we've been there, done it.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So taking a look at that, we're going to throw another song on the mix here.
Okay.
Yeah. They're going to keep coming at you. So I want you to take your business coaching and what you do, how you help entrepreneurs, how you help salon owners and soon to be restaurateurs. And I want you to put a song that you think would fit for them, that would motivate them to kind of get their stuff in order, to make sure that they know their figures, to make sure that they put out those fires where they need to. Everything we just covered, throw a song at that you think would resonate with entrepreneurs to stay focused, stay motivated, and not be linear, not be start here, end here. We're an evolving playlist as it is. So what song comes to mind for you?
Okay, I do have a really good song, Rise Up by Andre Day.
Okay.
Is that how you pronounce her name? Rise Up. That song is what encourages me because it's not all easy. It's like you got to get up every day and take accountability for maybe some choices you've made that didn't work out, and also accept the challenges, and also be proud of yourself for the choices you made that were good.
Yeah. I had to think for a second because it's been a while since I've heard that song, but that's a powerful song. That's a good song.
I love that. That's the song that I put on when I'm just like, okay.
It catches you off guard. So I've got 3 daughters at home, and I'm always trying to find those inspirational songs, the songs that just kind of hit home, but they're not sung by a male, because I want to encourage them to pursue music and creativity. Just kind of, as we get older, our imagination kind of goes away, and I don't want that to be smashed down. And I want them to realize that there are women out there who are doing amazing things, who are making some phenomenal products, and the more I can push out female singers. So I'm really glad you threw her out there.
I love this song.
Yeah, so make sure you guys check out Andre Day with Rise Up. Now, before we jumped on, you and I talked about a little bit, and we're gonna circle back for our listeners who didn't have that opportunity to be in the background with us. We talked a little bit about when you walk into a business and kind of getting your senses, and I want you to kind of walk through for all the entrepreneurs who are tuning in and listening, and maybe just those us casual shoppers, to make us all more aware. When you go into a business, hitting those senses, we talked about music. It's powerful. Obviously we can throw something to our soundtrack for our lives, but it goes a little deeper than that. There's sounds around us. So just throw it out there for us.
Music is so powerful because not only it creates an emotional feeling, but it can also bring up a memory, and it can put you in a different time zone, let's just say, of either good or bad. And so that is such an incredible tool. I don't understand why more business owners don't use that for their toolbox, let's say, to be successful. Because we all know when you go in a store and if the music turns off, you automatically think, are they closing? What time is it? What's happening? Because we're conditioned that if music is playing, then you're encouraged to keep doing your behavior. If the music is turned off, it's to stop and reevaluate what's happening. Like something's wrong. It causes this feeling of what's going on? What's happening? And that is I think an innate reaction, because music is so powerful. It's healing. It creates movement. It creates a memory, all that. So I make sure my salon owners that I work with, that music is just as important as the paint on the walls, as the smell of when you walk in, your branding colors, because so many people, they totally understand my logo, my colors, my branding, all that stuff. But it's like they never really consider music. It's like an afterthought, or I'll just put on Spotify or something. But I encourage people to understand that the power that you can have with music, you can encourage people to just hang out more, because honestly, if somebody's more in a comfortable and they feel good, then they're going to be more apt to say, well, what other services do you have? Why don't I go ahead and get a conditioning treatment so that I can just be here longer? And my goal is to make sure I have clients that say, who is this again? I haven't heard this song. Or that's a sign to me that I'm doing a good job, because it's in the background, but yet they're aware of it and they like it and they're drawn to it, because they're also going to assume, because assumption is a very powerful tool to use in your business. You want them to assume that you're on the cusp of all the new haircuts, all the new styles, also all the new artists, all the new music. Because if you are constantly just playing what's on the radio, which other salons ads might be in your salon. Like we don't want that.
That's a good point.
We don't want just a radio. We want to control our music, because not only is your branding like the best of, then your music should be the best of, right? Because when they leave your business, they're going to feel good. They're going to smell good, because they're going to have all the products that you just used on their hair.
Yep.
They're going to look good. They're going to smell good. They're going to feel good. And they're going to probably be humming something. That's my goal. I want them to be like,
love it.
while they're paying, right?
Yeah.
Because you're creating an environment that is hitting all 5 senses. And that is one sense, the hearing, that they you might not be focusing on. And there's also a different type of branding you can create with music. Let's say you have a salon that is also a tattoo parlor, and you do really funky colors in your branding, and you also have tattoos and piercing. You're not going to have jazz, maybe. I mean, you know what I mean?
Right.
You want your music to match your tone, because you want it to attract the clientele that are going to get those services. So you might actually have a sign that say, we're all local artists. Maybe some, you could use music as a way to promote your business.
Yeah.
By having the brand that matches the clientele you want to attract. Like if you're a spa that has facials and very relaxing music, you're probably not going to have like a lot of words, because you want to have more instrumental, maybe because you want their brain to not go somewhere. You want it to just be very centered and relaxing.
Yeah.
So one of my clients has mentioned, she's like, she owns a spa, beautiful upscale spa. And she's like, I'm wondering if I should bring in hairdressers, because that would just keep the clients in my business longer. And I'm like, okay, you got to consider that not only that's a different type of clientele, but your music will have to change, because you cannot have a hairstylist who's doing, let's say, 2 hours of foiling, listening to relaxing music.
Yep.
Because I have watched my staff. If I have too relaxing music on, their foiling actually starts to slow down just a little bit, because you tend to move with the beat of the music.
Yep.
So if we're a salon is really busy, we've got a lot of foils going on, or corrective coloring, or balayages going on with long hair, I'm going to put on music that beat is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, so that they're foiling to that beat, and it helps keep them on time. If you have a full staff that's always running a little behind, you might want to check your music. I mean, it could be that simple, because if you have a relaxing music and the foiling is down like da-na-na, da-da-da-da, that couple second beat is going to make a difference at the end of the day. You might be a half an hour behind.
Yeah. So with that, you hit something there with me that it kind of sparked a little thought there. With New Year's Eve just having to happen, I was watching Dick Clark's Rock New Year's Eve, and when you said that you want to make sure that it's kind of newer, or like current, or fits your brand, the music.
Right.
One thing that threw me off with the New Year's Eve, and this might be a hot take out there, I don't want to upset any fans of the 80s and early 90s, but because I love that music too, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But one thing that threw me off was I turned it on, and 2 of the first artists that I watched were New Edition and Duran Duran. And I get it, they're both going on tour, so congrats to those guys.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. New Edition.
Duran?
Yep. Duran. They actually just came out with some new music.
Wow.
Yep.
I need to check it out.
They're but I turn it on, I'm thinking, okay, I was thinking maybe like Megan Trainor or Charlie Puth, someone, these younger up and coming artists that are, they've already had hits and have gone platinum. Maybe they're going to be performing. And then I turn it on, I'm thinking, why is Poison being played? What's Hungry Like the Wolf? Like, oh, come on, guys. So, and I get it. I felt bad for Duran Duran. Their entire band and their backup singers, they looked freezing, and they were wearing fur coats, and it was raining.
Oh no!
Oh, that's a wardrobe mistake there.
Yeah.
But they sounded good.
Okay, that's amazing.
But with what you said there, the music doesn't necessarily have to be brand new, current, fresh.
Absolutely.
If there's, when I DJ weddings or events, I've got my playlist. I've got crates of music that are songs are guaranteed to make people go and dance to. If I want to change the mood up and get some of the younger crowd out there, maybe younger, like my age, mid 30s.
Yeah.
I'll throw out some Smash Mouth All Star or the Killers, Mr. Brightside, or Miley Cyrus, Party in the USA. If I want an older crowd, I can pull some of that. It's about appealing to your clientele, but also fitting within what you want to happen there.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to. We're gonna throw another song. We're doing two more. This one I got another last little bit for you here.
Okay.
We're gonna go with the song. I want you to pick one out that for your dream salon. If you had everything you wanted, that the atmosphere, everything's perfect. I'm coming. I'm getting my hair done. Because I've been to multiple salons. When I travel and I'm looking shaggy, I'm like, oh, I got to get a haircut. This ain't good. I see who I can go find, and there's been a few issues that like, well, I'm gonna go home and just shave this down because it's not good. Or hey, I'm wearing a hat the next 6 weeks. I want you to have your perfect dream salon. I walk in as a client, and the first song I hear when you come, I'm assuming you're gonna greet me. Hello, welcome.
Okay.
Because you should know who I am.
Sure. Yeah.
But I walk into your salon, the first song I hear sets the tune, sets the atmosphere. It'd be your perfect song. The place is buzzing, having fun. What are we going with?
Okay, so to answer that, I have to say how I am, a little bit older generation.
Sure.
So my dream salon would be people like me, per se. So honestly, whenever I'm stuck and I want to put music on my side, I always go towards Norah Jones. Anything by Norah Jones. Okay. Because she, it's not like she's not yelling at it's a nice neutral, I feel like. Yep. And so I can start my morning with a Norah Jones, and then I can pivot and then maybe go back to Norah Jones more at the end of the day when we're trying to like get the clients out and just So I feel like Norah Jones is always like my equalizer, my starting point. Yeah. You can go up and go down. Amazing.
Oh, absolutely. She's got a great voice, great tonality. Right? The music, it's when I was I was a wedding DJ for 15 years, and during my dinner music, I'd play Norah Jones. I'd bounce back and forth between Norah Jones and Michael Bublé.
Yes.
And it's that same thing. Their catalog is so diverse. You can have that upbeat, you can have that slow, relaxing.
Right.
So I want you to pinpoint.
And she kind of weaves between. Yep. Like you can have her on, and it's not like a shock to be like, oh, now we're in a different, like that. I never want the music of my song to feel jerky between the songs. They need a flow. And that's one thing I feel like Norah Jones does. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to have you pinpoint one exact song that we're going to toss up on our playlist of Jessica Steele's greatest hits.
Okay.
Dream Salon, Norah Jones is playing, and she is singing what song?
Probably Come Away With Me.
Okay.
Yeah. I like know all the words. It's a good, I really, God, there's so many. I think Come Away With Me,
That'd be.
Or I don't know why, but I think Come Away With Me,
Come Away With Me just edges out just a little bit?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So. Got one weird question for you. I got to end on a weird note because it's entertainment. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Okay. We are stuck in an elevator.
Okay.
It could be at a conference, could be wherever. Okay. But we're out somewhere and we get stuck in an elevator, and somehow we get a message in, hey, it's gonna be about 5 to 10 minutes. Just hang tight. Stay cool. Stay calm. There's music playing on the elevator, but it's not radio music. It's elevator cover music of a song. If you had to be trapped in an elevator, we'll just pick 4 people. There's 4 of us in the elevator. The song that you would have played in the background, just as we're sitting there, maybe we're making conversation, maybe we're just trying not to freak out, maybe we're trying not to go to the bathroom because we got to go real bad.
Okay.
Lunch.
Okay.
All right. There is one song playing.
Okay.
But it's elevators.
I know exactly what it is.
Oh, I love it. What do you got?
Yeah. And the reason why I know is because I listened to this song during my divorce. Okay. So I listened to this song on repeat driving to the courthouse. Okay. So this song is kind of it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And that is Landslide by Fleetwood Mac.
Okay.
100%.
Nice.
For some reason, that song, so now when I listen to it, it takes me back, because I was divorced, oh my God, it was like 20 something years ago, like 25 years, like a long time ago.
Yeah.
But that song, when it comes on, it doesn't take me back to a sad place. It actually takes me back to a place of, this is hard. This is a big hill to climb, but it's going to get better on the other side. Like it gives me a peace, and that's why I would choose that in the elevator. Okay. And if it's just the musical and not her singing, like, you know how like elevator music, I will still instantly be like, I got this. Yep. The Landslide. Yeah. So I love that song.
I was wondering where you were going to go with that. I was thinking, well, when you said divorce, driving to the courthouse, maybe like Twisted Sister, We're Not Going to Take It, or Beastie Boys.
Isn't that interesting?
Right? Yeah.
No, it was Landslide because I had 2 young kids.
Yep.
And heard the words in that song just really, I just felt like she was speaking to me.
I love it. And that's honestly, that's the power of music. It's
absolutely.
Lyrics resonate with everyone differently. Mm-hmm. And honestly, if you listen to it at a different time in your life, maybe 10 years down the line, you pull it up, it can either trigger that memory that's trapped deep within our subconscious, or maybe it's going to resonate different with you.
Right, because I just remember hearing that song, and I almost felt like she was just grabbing my hand and dragging me on stage going, this is going to be your moment. Your life is going to get better. Like, it just had a real powerful moment for me. So now that's my safe song to pull up when I'm feeling like unsure of myself. Yeah.
Perfect. I love it. So we're going to start wrapping up, but before we go, we got to know, where can we find you? Social media, podcast?
Okay, absolutely. We're on Instagram, just Myers Steele Coaching, because Myers is my partner's last name. Steele is my last name. We're also on Facebook, Myers Steele Coaching. You can find our page. We also have a business group, Business Foundations for Success. That's free. You can just come in, and that's what we're going to actually be offering. A free 5-day intense masterclass that anybody can listen to, anyone can join. We're going to have worksheets you can have for free, and that will be January 22nd. So you can just join our group. That's where we're going to be live in, and we love having questions, because my job is that I want every business owner to feel like they have the tools to be successful. Because with the economy, we're going to get through it, but it's just, we're going to have to be very conscious of the choices we make this year. Perfect. And where we want to take our business and what we want it to look like at the end of the year.
Perfect. We are all right, so Jessica, I'm going to tag all those links, your profiles, in the descriptions here. Make sure you guys find Jessica. January 22nd, jump on that call, listen to it, take notes. I'm going to do my absolute best. I believe I'm going to be on the road. Is there a replay option, or is it going to be live?
Yes, because it's all going to be actually on Zoom, which will be recorded, and we'll put them in the group. So you could just watch it, and I would love it if you could join, or just let me know your feedback. And thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I've really had a wonderful morning.
Awesome. Well, it was great talking. Yeah, I learned a lot about the salon industry, which, that's one of the reasons I wanted to start this, just kind of get to know people and be an open book, absorb as much as we can. So
absolutely,
Jessica,
we can all learn from each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you just got to be open-minded, and maybe sometimes just listen to some music and just find that common ground, that bond. So that's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're gonna hit this wrap up here, and we'll be right back.
This episode of Randrews Live, the podcast. We hope you had as much fun listening as we did making it. Thanks for tuning in on this journey through the music and stories. Don't forget to hit subscribe and find us on all social media platforms at Randrews Live. From there, you can stay up to date on all the latest episodes. And if you have any comments, questions, or ideas for future episodes, hit us up. We love hearing from our listeners. Until next time, keep on rocking, and we'll see you soon.